Welcome back. This is Chicken Philosophy and Carl Jung's Black Books, part 42.
42.
Gotta have the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy stuff thrown in, of course, whenever 42 comes up. And today is a very special day, one of only 7 of these episodes in which we start a whole new volume. There's 7 books in Carl Jung's Black Books, and today we start the 3rd one. This one here. All right. Yeah, very smooth. And now the gap is in a different place than it has been for the past some time. Okay. And hope everyone's doing well. We've got a different kind of noise pollution today. It's raining, which is really unexpected. So you won't hear me complaining about the weather today, which is very unusual unless it's nighttime. Should I try to read his handwriting and translate it from German or Swissish into English? Or should I read the translation typed up for our convenience? See this, this is the scanned handwriting, and this little tiny bit in the back is the typed translation in English. So that's how we got through book 2 so quickly. And this whole series is going to be relatively short. 42 episodes, and we're starting the 3rd book. Maybe not that short, but we'll see how it goes. Book 3. This covers December 30th, 1913 through January 14th, 1914. And for those who are good at math, that means that this covers 2 weeks. So it's very interesting how 2 weeks in the life of Carl Jung experimenting on himself can be packed so densely with stuff. Okay, I'll go ahead and start. This is December 30th, 1913. All these things lead me so far away from my science, which I thought I had subscribed to firmly. I wanted to serve humanity. It's a cookbook. Through it. And now, my soul, you lead me to these new things. Yes, it is the in-between world. That's underlined, in-between world. The pathless, manifold, and dazzling. I forgot that I had reached a new world, which had been alien to me previously. I see neither way nor bridge. What I believed about the soul has to become true here, namely that she knows her own way better, and that no intention can prescribe a better one for her. I feel that a large chunk of science has been broken off. I suppose it must be like this, for the sake of the soul, right, and her life. I find the thought that this must occur only for me agonizing, and that perhaps no one will gain insight from my work. Oh, Carl, if you only knew. But my soul demands this achievement. I should be able to do this just for myself without hope, for the sake of God. This is truly a hard way. But what else did those Anchorites of the first centuries of Christianity do? And were they the worst or least capable of those living at the end? Hardly, since, something crossed out, they came to the most relentless conclusions with regard to psychological necessity of their time, to the psychological necessity of their time. They left wife and child, wealth, glory, and science, and turned toward the desert for God's sake. So be it. And then there's the dividing line, which usually means he's going under.
Going under. I'm going under. Going under. Going under. Going under.
Thank you, Devo. All right. The desert, yellow sand all around, heaped up in waves, a terrible, irascible sun, a steel blue sky, the air shimmering above the earth. On the right, a deeply cut, rocky river valley with a dry riverbed, some languid grass, and dusty brambles. If you're looking for a name for your son, Dusty Brambles Johnson, or whatever your surname is. In the sand, I see the tracks of naked feet that, you're into that too? Sorry. That lead up from the rocky valley to the plateau. I follow them. They lead me to the left along a high dune. Where it falls off, the tracks move off to the right. They appear to be fresh, in between older, half-worn away footprints run alongside. I pursue them attentively. They always go to the right, apparently along the other side, cross-out side, slope of the dune. Now they turn even more to the right and flow into another set of footprints, but it is the same set that I have already followed, the one ascending from the valley. I follow the footprints downward in astonishment. I soon reach the hot red rocks corroded by the wind. On the stone, the footprints are lost, but I see where the rock falls off in layers, and I climb down. The air glows, and the rock burns my soles through the sandals. Now I have reached the bottom. There are the tracks again in the sand. They lead along the winding of the valley, a short distance. Next, I stand before a small, miserable hut covered in reeds and made of mud bricks. A rickety wooden plank forms the door where a cross has been painted in red. I open it quietly. A meager man with a bald head and deep brown skin, covered in a white linen mantle, is sitting on a mat with his back leaning against the wall. Across his knees lies a book in yellow parchment and beautiful black handwriting, a Greek book, the New Testament, without doubt. I am with an Anchorite of the Libyan desert. It's somewhere around here. Well, anyway, I do have it somewhere. All right, a Greek New Testament. It's hiding for some reason. Maybe, I think sometimes I shove books over here because there's like a space where you can't see the books. And so sometimes to like... Never mind. I can't read Greek. I bought it accidentally. Right. Am I disturbing you, Father? I ask quietly. Quote, you do not disturb me, but do not call me Father. I am a man like you. What is your desire? End quote. I come without desire. Seems like a shame. You should have some desire when you do that. Sorry. I have come to this place in the desert by chance and found tracks in the sand up there that led me in a circle to you. Quote, you found the tracks of my daily walks at daybreak and sunset. End quotes. Parentheses, his tone is calm and natural. No astonishment concerning the stranger, no curiosity, and no posing. End parentheses. Excuse me if I interrupt your devotion. It is a rare opportunity for me to be with you. I have never before seen an Anchorite. Quote, there are several others whom you can see further down in this valley. Some have huts like me. Others live in the graves that the ancients have hollowed out in these mountains. I live uppermost in the valley because it is the most solitary and quiet here, and because here I am closest to the endless peace of the desert. End quote. Have you already been here long? Quote, I have lived here for perhaps 10 years, but really I can no longer remember exactly how long it is. It could also be a few more years. Time passes so quickly. End quote. Time passes quickly? How is that possible? Your life must be frightfully monotonous. The Anchorite looked up at me in astonishment. Quote, time certainly passes quickly for me, much too quickly even. It seems you are a pagan. End quote. Oh, how the tables have turned. For those who haven't heard the previous few of the Carl Jung Black Book's recitals, a few episodes ago, he was accusing one of the characters that he met of being a pagan. Now one of the characters is accusing him of being a pagan. Anyway, me? No, not exactly. I was raised in the Christian faith. Quote, well, then how can you ask whether time drags on for me? You must know what preoccupies an anchorite. Only idlers grow bored. I worship you, O idol. Sorry. I was just worshiping my idols. Where was I? Yes. Again, forgive me, my curiosity is great. What then do you occupy yourself with? Quote, are you a child? To begin with, you see that I am reading, and that I keep regular hours. End quote. But I can see nothing at all with which you could occupy yourself here. You must have read this book from cover to cover often enough, and if it is the four Gospels, as I suppose, then I'm sure you already know them by heart. Quote, how childishly you speak. Surely you know that one can read a book many times. Perhaps you almost know it by heart, and nevertheless it can be that when you look again at the lines before you, certain things appear new, or even completely new thoughts with new underline occur to you that you did not have before. Every word can work productively in your spirit. And finally, if you have once left the book for a week and you take it up again after your spirit has experienced various different changes, then a number of things will dawn on you. End quote.
I have difficulty grasping this. The book remains one and the same, certainly a wonderful and profound, yes, even divine matter, but surely not rich enough to fill countless years. Quote, you are astonishing. How, then, do you read this holy book? Do you really always see only one and the same meaning in it? Where do you come from? You are truly a pagan. Bracket parentheses, end quote, end bracket parentheses. I beg you, please don't hold it against me if I talk like a pagan. Let me only talk with you. I am here to learn from you. Consider me as an ignorant student, which I am in your matters. Quote, if I call you a pagan, don't take it as an insult. I used to be pagan too, and thought exactly like you, as I well remember. Therefore, how can I blame you for your ignorance? End quote. Thank you for your patience. But it matters very much to me to know how you read and what you take from this book. Quote, your question is not easy to answer. It's easier to explain colors to a blind person.
I did that once, actually. Frater Love. He's a musician. And so what I explained was that if you relate C to red, and C sharp to red orange, and D to orange, D sharp to orange yellow, E to yellow, F to yellow green, F sharp to green. I've come this far, I might as well finish. G to teal or greenish blue, and G sharp to blue, and A to indigo or bluish purple, and A sharp to purple, and B to crimson, as the Victorians would have called it, but reddish purple. Then the C that you reach when you get to the end of that is not a higher octave, but the same octave. And he said, oh! I have no idea what that oh meant, but I was happy to have provided some insight into colors to a person who had never seen them. It's a unique experience. All right, anyway. Right. You must know one thing above all. A succession of words does not have only one meaning, one is underlined. Men strive only to assign a single meaning to the sequence of words. This striving is worldly and vainly constricted. Cross out vainly, just constricted is fine. And belongs to the deeper layers of the divine creative plan. On the higher levels of insight into divine thoughts, you recognize that the sequence of words has more than one valid meaning. Only to the all-knowing is it given to know all the meanings of the sequence of words. Increasingly, we try to recognize a few more meanings. End quote. If I understand you correctly, you think that the holy writings of the New Covenant also have a doubleness, an exoteric and an esoteric meaning, as a few Jewish scholars contend concerning their holy books? Are you referring to the Kabbalah, Mr. Jung? Quote, this bad superstition is far from me. I observe that you are wholly inexperienced in divine matters. End quote. Cross out that. I must confess my deep ignorance about these things, but I am all too eager
to experience and understand what you think about the multifaceted meaning of the sequence of words.
Son, don't be so fucking eager.
Thank you, Mallory. My thoughts exactly.
Quote, unfortunately, I am in no position to tell you everything I know about it, but at least I will try to make the elements clear to you. Because of your ignorance, I will therefore begin elsewhere this time. What you need to know is that before I became acquainted with Christianity, I was a rhetorician. Rhetorician? A rhetorician and philosopher in the city of Alexandria. I had a considerable throng of students.
Oh, I was thinking of thong and schlong. Throng. Okay. Throng is nothing to do with schlong or thong. Okay. I'm back.
Where were we? Yes, the schlong of students, including many Romans, also a few barbarians from Hispania, and Gaul.
Oh, back then, right. Back then, the barbarians of
Spain and France, right. I taught them not only the history of Greek philosophy, but also the new systems, among them the system of Philo, whom we call the Jew. Oh, what a cute nickname for Philo. He was a clever head, but fantastically abstract, as the Jews are wont to be when they devise systems. When, cross out when. Moreover, he was a slave of his own words.
I've been working on not being one of those. So if you notice me contradicting myself, it's because I'm not a slave of my own words. If you can call it that. There's probably other words to describe that. Not so kind words. But, yeah. Allowing myself to change my point of view on certain things, subtle things.
All right. Anyway. I added my own and wove an atrocious web of words in which I entrapped not only my listeners, but also myself. We rioted terribly among words and names, our own miserable creatures, and cross out and something crossed out, accorded divine potency to them. Yes, we believed in their reality, and believed that we possessed the divine and had committed it to words.
Him is crossed out.
End quote. But Philo Judaeus, if this is who you mean,
This is Carl talking.
was a serious philosopher and a great thinker. Even John the theologian did not disdain including some of Philo's thoughts in the gospel. Quote, you are right. It, something crossed out, is to Philo's credit that he furnished language like so many other philosophers. He belongs to the language artists. But words should not become idols. End quote. Hear, hear. Graven images, they're sometimes called. That's not as subtle as... Never mind. In my dad's book, he's talking about stereotypes, and then randomly threw in a biblical reference with graven images, they're sometimes called. But here we're talking to a guy who's talking about the Jew Philo, and he's an ancient Christian, so me throwing randomly in a biblical reference isn't as like, hey, ooh, didn't see that one coming. Yeah, idols, graven images, same thing, dumbass. Anyway, talking to myself. Right. This is Carl. I fail to understand you here. Does it not say in the gospel according to John? I shit you not, this is Greek. Greek letters and everything. He just threw in some Greek. No translation. Let's see if he translates it. It appears to me to make quite explicit the view which you have just now rejected.
Nope. Now you have to be able to speak Greek in order to fully understand this book. Sorry.
All right. Quote, guard against being a slave to words. Here is the Gospel of John. Read from that passage where it says, more Greek. What?
Yeah, I'm Sonu. Hey, Sonu. I have a complaint here. Why isn't this translated into English? Not everybody speaks Greek. What the fuck? Do you speak Greek?
Anyway, what does John say there? More Greek, more Greek, more Greek. More Greek, more Greek, more Greek.
Holy fuck. Latin, at least I can, like, say it, pronounce it, and figure out maybe based on some of my limited knowledge. I took like 6 months of Latin in high school and then chanted in Latin for like a long time. 13-ish years on a semi-regular basis.
I ask you, was this logos a concept, a word?
Oh, in the beginning was the Logos, and the Logos was with God, and the Logos was God.
Okay. That's probably what it was. I ask you, what this logos, a concept, a word? It was a light, indeed a man, and lived among men. You see, Philo lent John, only the word and the concept, so that John would have at his disposal the word, I assume that's logos. All right. Alongside the word, something else.
God, maybe. I don't know.
With its special meaning to express the Son of Man. John gave to living men the meaning of the logos. But Philo gave logos as the dead concept that usurped life, even the divine life.
I've been talking about this shit recently on Chicken Philosophy and on Esoteric Nerd. This is timely.
And this was also my atrocious error, end quote.
So now we know what one of the characters in Carl Jung's unconscious thinks about the Logos. We'll add that to the mix. It's not like we're correcting anything I've said so far. Just this is what Carl Jung's unconscious thinks. And Carl Jung was like, really? I never thought of it that way. It's you, dude. You're talking to your own... Never mind. This is Carl now. Now I see what you mean. This thought is new to... I try to do voices so that you know who's talking. Now I see what you mean. This thought is new to me and seems worth special consideration. Until now, it always seemed to me as if it were exactly that. I know it might be a ghost or something, or an angel or whatever. I'm just playing the, for the sake of the what's a polite way of saying it? For the realists, the skeptics that are watching, I'm saying their voices in his head, people in his head, characters in the collective unconscious, perhaps. So rather than, I made contact with a being on another level, and then it's like, okay, Dad.
Anyway, this was always new to me. Yes, right. Until now, blah, blah, blah. Exactly what... Until now, it always seemed to me as if it were exactly that which was meaningful to John, namely that the Son of Man is the Logos, in that he thus elevates the lower to the higher spirit, to the world of the Logos. But you lead me to see the matter conversely, namely that John brings the meaning of Logos
Down to man.
Quote, I learned to see that John has in fact even done the great philosophical service of having brought, underline brought, cross out the burp, the meaning of Logos up
to man. Oh, up is underlined, end quote. This is intriguing.
Go on. You have particular insights that stretch my curiosity to the utmost. How is that? Do you think that the human stands higher than the Logos? Quote, I want to answer this question within the scope of your understanding.
Skillful means.
Good one,
Anchorite.
Libyan Anchorite. I guess we haven't named this person yet. If for God the human had not become important above everything, he would not have appeared as the Son in the flesh, but in the Logos. End quote. What? That makes sense to me. Really? Oh, I'm glad that you two agree that made sense. Can you explain it to the rest of the world, please? That makes sense to me, but I confess that this view is surprising to me. It is especially surprising, astonishing to me that you, a Christian anchorite, have come to such views. I would not have expected this of an anchorite. Bracket parentheses, quote, end, bracket parentheses. As I have already noticed, you have a completely false, something crossed out, idea of me and my life. Let me give you a small example of my preoccupation. I've spent cross out many. You could have just added a Y, dude. Oh, this is translated into English, right? I've spent many years alone with the process of unlearning. Barf up that apple, Teddy. It's a Salinger thing, 9 stories. Never mind. Have you ever unlearned anything? Well, then you should know how long it takes. And I was a successful teacher. And you know, for such people to unlearn is difficult or even impossible. Their second word is, quote within quotes, yes, if I were younger. What? End quote within quotes. That might show you, something crossed out, how much time I spent on learning. But I see that the sun has gone down. S-O-N. I mean S-U-N. Nothing weird. Soon it will be completely dark. Night is the time of silence. I want to show you your place for the night. I need the morning for my work. But after midday, you can come to me again if you'd like. And, cross out and, then we will continue our conversation. Oh, I didn't do the rune today. Oh well, I skipped one. Okay. End quote. He leads me out of the hut. The valley is covered in deep blue shadows. The air is incredibly clear, indescribably clear. The first stars are already glittering in the sky. He leads me around the corner of a rock. We are standing at the entrance of an Egyptian stone grave. He leads me inside. Not far from the entrance lies a heap of reeds covered with mats. There is a pitcher of water on a block of stone, and on a white cloth there are dried dates and black bread. Quote, here is your place and your supper. Sleep well. Do not forget your morning prayer when the sun rises. End quotes. Bing! That's the end. That's what happened on what day? December 30th. His last little trip into his mind for the year 1913. Next time, one of us will be reading about his experience on January 1st of 1914. There it is. Can you hear the rain? I opened the windows today, so you could hear the rain. We went for a little drive earlier. Here's a little video that I took out the window when we were stopped. It's exciting for people who like rain. We stopped to get some sodas and stuff at the shop, and this guy from Rajasthan was like, rain. I said, yeah, it's nice. He said, nice? I said, yeah, that's why we moved to Goa, for the rain.
And then I went back to the car and I was like, he's from Rajasthan though. He's like, water? That belongs in the toilet. I'm sure it rains sometimes in Rajasthan, but anyway, it rains pretty heavily here for about 3 months, starting June until September. But this is April. We don't get April showers in Goa, usually. So this is a very pleasant, unexpected blessing today for Pew and myself, who I guess are, generally speaking, freaks, because we like rain more than not rain. And the majority of people in the world, it seems, not only do they not like the rain, rain, go away, gray skies are going to clear up. We're like, don't bring me down, let the gray skies stay as long as they want to fucking stay. Gray is the best. My favorite, when it starts raining here, everything turns more green. And then when the sky is gray and the ground is green, the ground is like more, it's like a sharper, the color like jumps out at you. Where right now, generally, it's like less green. It's still green, but like a little bit of yellow and tan and brown mixed in, And then the sky is like blue or blue and white or, like this big, bright yellow thing. And it's like, I'm sweating. I want to go in the air conditioning. So it's just odd to me that people are like, oh, it's not sweaty today, and there's rain falling from the sky, and all the plants, you can smell them, and they're getting more green, and I can see. I wish it were terrible and hot, like, from my perspective. I've gone on too long about this, haven't I? Yes. Yes, I have. Is there anything else that I should say before I close? I suppose not. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. It's Saturday. I mean, for me it's Saturday. For you it might be Friday. So I think that's an appropriate thing to say for a human to another human. I hope you have a great weekend.